Hey guys, how are you? Wanted to go ahead and shell out my Week 11 picks. Now, as far as Week 10 goes, rotten week, worst week of the year. I finished 5-9, and that was because there was another set of upside down results from Week 10. So, not good at 5-9. Now, I'm still 20 games over 500 for the season at 82-62, so that's good. But we'll try to turn that around. I did have a 7-9 week, earlier in the season. Let me see when that was. That would be week number 2. So hopefully we won't have any more of those, and we'll go forward. But I wanted to go ahead and just do my week number 10 picks, week number 11 picks. I'm trying to wash week 10 away. So I'll start with Miami and Chicago. Now, I had picked against the Bears the last few weeks because I just didn't think that they were the real deal. They were kind of shaky, but it seems like they righted themselves at least somewhat last week. So I'll go ahead and take the Bears here for that reason and the fact that Miami, is down to Tyler Thigpen. And they might try to bring in a quarterback before Sunday, but the fact that you're on your third string and you got to pick a guy up off the street probably doesn't help your situation. So I'm going to take Chicago here, and you got, even though the game's in Miami, it's easier for a cold weather team to go into a warm environment than the other way around. So I like the Bears. Now, Cincinnati and Buffalo. You know what? The feel-good story with Buffalo was getting their first win last week, but I think that ends here. Cincinnati will rebound. They actually kept it close against the Colts, keeping it to within 7 points, or exactly 7 points. So I'm going to take Cincinnati here. I think they'll sustain and win this game. Now, Dallas and Detroit. Obviously, if you're a Cowboy fan, you had to like what you saw last week. Jason Garrett seems to at least have a somewhat of a pulse on this team. So you take the Cowboys here. Detroit, obviously, can't win on the road. Losing 25 straight now, I believe it is, on the road. So you like the Cowboys. Tennessee and Washington. If you're a Redskins fan, you certainly don't like what you saw on Monday night, getting torched for 59 points. So I'm going to go with Tennessee here, even though they lost last week. I think the Titans will find a way here at home. But Kansas City and Arizona, you figure that the Chiefs will bounce back from losing last week. Arizona is kind of headed in the wrong direction, so I like the Chiefs here. Like I said, you figure that they're not going to drop the ball here and lose this game. Green Bay and Minnesota. For a minute, I believed in the Vikings. For a minute, I thought they maybe had a little something left in the tank, but Brett Favre has just been way too inconsistent. There's obviously chaos over there with Childress and everything else, but I think plus Green Bay is the better team, at least most likely anyway. So I'll take the Packers. The Jets going up against Houston. You know what? You probably waited long enough to see if Houston is for real, and you found out that the answer is no. Houston is another one of those teams that you find are inconsistent. So, based on that, and based on the fact that the Jets do find a way to win, whether they win ugly or not, they won ugly last week, coming down to the last 15 seconds of overtime against Cleveland, but they won the game. They find ways to win, so it's not the same old Jets as it were. So you take the Jets in that regard. You figure they're not going to slip up here against Houston, even though on paper Houston would seem like a tougher opponent than Cleveland. You're still going to take the Jets here. Now, Pittsburgh and Oakland. You take the Steelers. If you're Oakland, you like what they've done the last couple of weeks. Now they had a bye last week. They're 5-4, but you still like the Steelers here at home. Now you guys know I'm not a big believer in home field advantage, but I'm still going to take the Steelers here at home. Now Baltimore and Carolina. This one's pretty much one-sided. You take Baltimore despite their loss last Thursday night. You take the Ravens here, and Carolina can't get out of their own way right now, so you like the Ravens easily. Now, Cleveland and Jacksonville. Cleveland is hung tough, as we just talked about, and I'm taking the Browns. Despite Jacksonville winning last week, I'm taking the Browns. Despite the game being in Jacksonville, I'm taking the Browns. Just a feeling I have. I figure, you know what? The way this season has been going, you almost have to pick a couple of upsets, and not that Cleveland winning would be a major upset, but you almost have to pick a couple of surprises to stay either with the curve or ahead of the curve. So I'm taking Cleveland. Atlanta and St. Louis, you go with the Falcons here. By now you figure they've established that they're the best team in the NFC. So if you are the best team in the NFC, you shouldn't lose to St. Louis. The NFC West has kind of been like this, so you take the Falcons. New Orleans and Seattle. Like the Saints here, obviously, Seattle's another one of those inconsistent teams. Even with Hasselbeck coming back, I still don't think they have enough to beat the Saints. I think the Saints learned their lesson from the Cleveland game, so I think the Saints will be okay here. Now, San Francisco and Tampa Bay. You like the Bucs, despite the Niners winning last week. You're going to take the Bucs here. I think the Bucs will have enough to pull this game out. The game's in San Francisco. To me, that doesn't matter. I like Tampa. New England and Indianapolis. You know what? Despite Indy's injury situation, they're always a threat. But given that, I like the way New England played last week. Tom Brady firing up that team, so I'm gonna go with the Pats. Whether the game's at home or not, I'm gonna go with New England here. And you rarely pick against Indianapolis, but in this case, I will, and I'll take the Pats. Philadelphia against the Giants. The only reason I'm picking the Giants in this game is not because I'm a Giant fan. I was disgusted by last week, not only losing the game, but then losing to Dallas at home on top of that. But anyway, the only reason I'm picking the Giants here is not because I'm a Giant fan, but because of my experience as a Giants fan, which has told me that last week being Exhibit A, the Giants historically have lost games that they're not supposed to. They weren't supposed to lose last week. They did. That's their trend. That's their history. Now, conversely, this game on paper, they're not supposed to win. Philly just put up 59 on Washington. So Philly's got all the momentum right now. So everybody's picking Philly. So these are the types of games that the Giants do their best work in when nobody thinks they can win. So that's why I'm taking the Giants. Historically, they've always been that way, where they win games they're not supposed to win and they lose games they're not supposed to lose. So I'm taking the Giants. San Diego against Denver, Monday night. The Chargers, obviously formidable with Rivers, but I'm still going to take the Broncos here. I might be kicking myself later, but I'm taking Denver here. And as we talked about, with the Chicago game, it's easier for a cold weather team to go into a warm environment than the other way around. If the game was in Denver, maybe the slant would head towards the Broncos. Having said that, I'm still going to take Denver. I think they could pull this game out. Like I said, I might regret that one later. So anyway, that's Week 11. So thanks to you guys once again. And so we'll have our normal show tomorrow on Thursday. My plan at this time anyway is to have Eric Scalavino on to talk about the New England Patriots and their game coming up against Indianapolis. So until then, you guys take care, and I will catch you guys on the other side.